So, Breath of the Wild 2. We got another sneak peek at E3, but let's dive into the video just a little bit more to see what it's all about. First, let's go ahead and watch the full trailer so that we can get the full experience before we start the analysis. Here we go. That's pretty cool, but what I'd like to do now is kind of pick this apart piece by piece and kind of see a little bit more on what each part of this trailer has to offer. So let's go in here and we're gonna see here, see the malice that we saw from the first trailer. Let's go back just a little bit here. And we see the malice. I mean, we saw this from the last trailer as well. But the malice appears to creep up Link's arm there, which surprisingly is the same arm as what kind of attacked by the green goo, the good stuff, or assumably the good stuff. I mean, it looks the same as like you know, the champions when they appear, when they're in their spirit form inside of the divine beasts. You can see that, you know, it's kind of the greenish glow sort of thing. So we're assuming that that's good. We're assuming that that's good spirit juice. But yeah, you can see here that it's trying to attack his arm. Maybe this is what kind of happens at first, and the arm or the green spirit goo comes up to, you know, help Link, and that's what turns his arm into that. But we'll just keep moving on here. Also, you can see his face is a little bit distressed there. He's not happy about this situation. He's not liking this stuff climb up his arm. Yeah, let's keep moving on. And of course, we have the assuming Ganondorf. He's got the same jewelry from the first trailer that we saw. This actually may even be, this little hole right here may even be like a callback to where he was stabbed in Twilight Princess with that light sword. I'm not sure what these other pieces of jewelry are. I'm sure there's something related to like the Gerudo, or something along those lines. This is a neat little Omega symbol here. Not quite sure what the reference is for that, but this whole design of Ganondorf. You can tell that this design of Ganondorf is similar to the current Gerudo of the Breath of the Wild time period, which is interesting, especially if they're going to be considering that this is like a Twilight Princess reincarnation of sorts. The fact that he's dressed similar to the current Gerudo is, like I said, it's a little interesting, but maybe it's a completely different Ganondorf altogether. We don't know. So here we have Zelda falling. I have no idea what's going on here, but I'm assuming this is still underneath the castle where Ganondorf was lying dormant with the hand attached to him. She's obviously reaching out for help, but no help is to be found. Bye for now, Zelda. I don't know where she's going, but hopefully Link goes to save her. Now here we see Link falling from the sky, very reminiscent of Skyward Sword, which I love Skyward Sword. I know it's got motion controls. I didn't mind them that much. I think that Skyward Sword has a great story, but we're not talking about Skyward Sword here today. We're talking about Breath of the Wild. However, this looks very similar to how you fall in Skyward Sword, and it's just really cool as a little throwback to Skyward Sword. One other interesting thing here is you can see that Link has old clothes, kind of what you usually start the game off with. You know, if you kind of go back to either Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword or anything, you kind of have these, I don't know what one you call it, dingy clothes or whatever that Link starts out with. And, you know, he's not in his typical Link green garb, but so this I'm assuming is like a beginning of the game sort of deal, or I'm not exactly sure what the callback is here, but you can also see that Link's arm right here, it appears to already have been touched by the green goo spirit, and is now some sort of Sheikah-ish style of arm, I guess you could say. His hair is a lot different. He's got his little adventure pouch there. But yeah, it's a little interesting that he's not in the Breath of the Wild outfit, and he's not in any sort of other standard Link outfit. You can see him continuing to fall into Hyrule here. If you look a little bit closer at his arm here, like we said, looks like it's been infected with the green spirit goo. If you look on his torso and on kind of his shoulder here, you have markings that are very similar to like the Twilight markings in Twilight Princess. Or, you know, if you like remember back to when Zelda was infected by evil from Ganondorf at the end of Twilight Princess, she kind of had those same markings. So I don't know if there's any significance to that, but that just is a very interesting situation there. Here we have another shot from the sky. It appears to be maybe at night or something along those lines. Link now has a shield, a quiver, and some arrows. It's got its glider, all sorts of fun stuff here. Maybe some different boots. Maybe those are the same ones. Hair still looks very different. The glider looks like it's got some like streamers coming off from the back there. I'm not sure if that's going to be used for like wind direction or something, or what the deal is there, but that'll be interesting to find out what's going on there. Also, you can see there's some sort of like, it almost looks like Impa's house, whatever you want to call it, from Kakariko Village in Breath of the Wild. Maybe that got raised up to the sky. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that all of these land pieces are in the sky. We're currently in the sky right now, I'm assuming, just because of the clouds and everything. Another neat thing is we still haven't seen Link's face to this point. And this, if you kind of recall back here, let me actually move the video back to Zelda here. You can see that she's got, went too far. She's got the shorter hair style, which is interesting because if you look back now to Link falling, it's a very similar kind of hairstyle there. I'm not suggesting that this is Zelda, but I don't know. Just a little curious that they don't show, you know, the face, but it's a very similar to Zelda hairstyle. I don't know. I don't think this is Zelda, but that is a very interesting situation. Let's continue on. So now we got this pretty, like, I'm assuming this is just like maybe like a fall area, you know, where it's kind of, I don't know, it just seems like everything has kind of got this golden haze to it. So, you know, maybe this is, I don't know, maybe this is like some sort of golden land, like where the Triforce sits. I'm not sure, but you've got these islands up in the sky, just like in Skyloft and Skyward Sword. And then you've got this little archway in the distance here. Not sure what the significance is of that, but like I said, maybe this is like the golden land and he's off to get the Triforce or something. Who knows? But let's continue on. Then there's this guy. I have no idea what this is, but I'm assuming this is a piece of Sheikah technology, maybe something that was left up in the sky from a long time ago, because this, I mean, this has some really strong Skyward Sword throwbacks to it. Just kind of the art style itself even looks similar to Skyward Sword. Maybe this is something built shortly after the events of Skyward Sword. And what is this? Is this a broom? What is this guy? I'm not sure what it is, but you do notice we're assuming that he's good. He's got the green spirit goo coming out of him, kind of attaching him. So I'm assuming that this thing is good. And the fact that, you know, if you look here, kind of in the distance here, kind of in this corner, you can see this little pedestal looks very similar to the top of his shoulders. So maybe, I don't know. I'm very confused by this situation. But another thing to note is if you look at the corner of this little structure here, that almost looks like that the pattern of the, you know, what's on Link's arm, that kind of Sheikah stuff, like the little Twilight symbols, I guess you could kind of call it. So I'm assuming this is all related to the green spirit goo, but I guess we'll have to see. So this is interesting. Link is back in, he's got his ponytail, he's got his Breath of the Wild outfit on, his standard, everything that we're used to, minus the streamers on the glider. He looks very similar to Breath of the Wild Link, which kind of begs the question, was that Zelda that we were seeing earlier with, you know, the different outfit and everything? Or is this a time traveling game? You know, I mean, we've, in the past with different Zelda games, we've seen that Nintendo likes to do different time traveling things. Ocarina of Time, you've got the, Ocarina of Time, you've got the, you know, the using the ocarina to travel between different areas in space and time. You've got the Master Sword that you put it in the pedestal, it changes you from adult Link to child Link, you know, 7 years in the past and future, so on. And then you've got Skyward Sword where you go back and forth between time. Even in Twilight Princess, you've got what appears to be some sort of time travel when you go through the Temple of Time kind of gate there, where you go into when the Temple of Time was still existing and still a structure. So maybe you get to play as two different versions of Link in this game. You know, you've got your Breath of the Wild timeline, and then maybe you're actually going back to like the Skyward Sword sort of timeline back in the very beginning. So you're kind of going from the end of the Zelda franchise, assumably that, you know, Nintendo kind of says this is the kind of the end of the timeline sort of deal, and then you're going all the way back to the beginning. So maybe it's something like that, but I don't know. That's just a theory, but it would be very interesting to find out. And then, as we can see here, we've got a couple things to digest here. Obviously, we've got a little bokoblin hideout that is attached to a stone talus. That should make things a little bit more interesting, I guess. But then also, why are there moblin horns on a bokoblin? That seems very strange. Maybe they have some sort of cross evolution since the last time we played or something. I'm not sure, but that is just something to note there. They don't seem to be any different otherwise. They definitely have a giant horn now. Now we see assumably Link's arm, kind of getting the spirit goo, the green spirit goo infused into his arm. It almost looks like the hand has kind of taken place of Link's hand, because I don't remember seeing Link having those crazy fingernails. But yeah, so we got the infusion going on here. I'm assuming this is going to be in the beginning of the game, but who knows? Who knows on the timeline with inside the game as well. So this is cool. This appears to be, you're freezing the time, you're using stasis to freeze the time of the object, the spiky ball, Mr. Spiky Ball, and things around it are still moving forward. So if we back up a little bit here again, you can see another thing to notice here. Link's not using a Sheikah Slate. He's simply doing this with his hand, which is also very interesting. So maybe we will not need a Sheikah Slate with this. We can just use our arm, since that's kind of been infused with the green spirit goo, which is assumably the same power that's in the Sheikah Slates. Who knows? But yeah, that's very cool. You can kind of see that it goes back and slams through the enemies there. Okay, so now we've got this weird, crazy tentacle thing coming out of whatever the heck that is. I'm getting some strong Jabu Jabu vibes from Ocarina of Time, with those tentacles that come down from like the inside of the fish. But I'm also getting some strong vibes from Twilight Princess, the first boss in the Forest Temple. That's kind of that piranha plant thing. You've got those like weird eyeball-y things that come out. I don't know. This definitely looks like a new enemy of sorts. I don't know if it's related to any enemy that we've played in the past. And is this a dungeon? I mean, you can see something over here that looks like some sort of a pedestal altar. Not sure what that is. Maybe this was an old shrine or something. Who knows? But also a thing to note here. Link's got some weird dragon fire-breathing shield. Not sure where that came from, but that'll come in handy, I'm sure, with the new enemies in this game. As you can see it there. Kind of see the glowing fire coming out of his shield. There's a little close-up of, yeah, you can see here that it's clearly some sort of, actually kind of looks like a wolf head from this angle. He burned the crap out of whatever this tentacle thing is. Like I said, this seems like some sort of cave or dungeon or something. Maybe this was in the bottom of Hyrule Castle, and this is what you're doing to get into the bottom of it. I'm not sure, but interesting nonetheless. I mean, you can see his arm. It's tough to tell if it's been like infected yet or not with this green spirit goo because he wears gloves. So I'm not 100% sure. I mean, it looks very similar to his other arm, so it may not be infected yet, but I guess we'll have to see. Okay, that part right there, if we go back to this little drop of goo, this really brings back some Twilight Princess vibes. I don't know if you remember, and I'll show that here. In Twilight Princess, when the light spirits would kind of come back after you rescued all of the, you know, filled the light vessel, it would kind of bloop into the water and then have this same sort of animation style. So maybe this is related to the light spirits and you've kind of developed power through them. But either way, whatever this is kind of turns into a green spirit goo swirl and allows, I'm assuming that's Link, kind of wiggle his way through the rocks here. Once again, what appears to be in the sky, which is also a neat little trick that I'll be excited to see how that's used. And he just hops on out of there and, oh, actually, if you look down here, this spot looks familiar. I can't remember the exact name of it, but those are like those little mushroom island things that give me strong Mario vibes because they look like the mushroom platforms. But yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, now we're back at Hyrule Castle, assuming that the Malice is just freaking out. it just is exploding out of the ground here, pushing Hyrule Castle up into the sky. And there you have it. Hyrule Castle is sitting up in the sky, suspended by Malice. It's a little interesting here. We don't see any sky platforms or islands, so I'm guessing that this happens in the beginning of the game when the Malice pushes us up into the sky, and maybe it affects other areas of Hyrule and pushes them up into the sky. I'm assuming that because of that reason, this is the beginning of the game. Also, I don't know if anyone can tell, but this music that starts about here, it's some sort of something that sounds backwards. We kind of had something similar in the first trailer. And some people have kind of had their own theories on what it is, but I don't know. You guys know what this is? It just doesn't sound familiar to me, but maybe someone else has come up with some other theories. But all right, so we got our castle floating here. And it's just done floating there. And then we fade to black. And they make us sad by saying 2022. Come on, Nintendo. Why can't it be this year? I want it for the holiday of 2021. That's what I wanted. I mean, we've been waiting since we got Breath of the Wild in 2017, and now we're going to be waiting about 5 years for the second one. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments of the new trailer. I thought it revealed some very cool things. We've got strong Skyward Sword throwbacks. We've got the two different versions of Link. We've got this kind of more Breath of the Wild, as in like this guy looks like he just came from the wild Link. And then we've got the one that we played in Breath of the Wild, which is this guy. So are these two different timelines? Are we going back and forth to the future? You know, that kind of goes back to, we see these islands here, but then when we go back here, we don't. So that's why I'm kind of thinking maybe this is something to do with some time travel again. And we're going back, and I don't know if Link is just dressing differently, or if this is, if you're playing as just the younger Link somehow. It's very cool. I'm very anxious to see what's going to be coming out of this. Hopefully everyone else is excited as I am. But thank you for watching. Hopefully see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You can catch me live every Monday and Thursday on Twitch at twitch.tv/thedurbster. Bye-bye.